Filipino American leaders call for transparency and due process after a spike in deportations of Filipino cruise ship workers in the United States. The incident raises red flags for the Philippines' labor export strategy and the stability of remittance-fueled sectors like maritime, tourism, and services. PNC's U.S. correspondent Don Tagala reports from New York.
The National Federation of Filipino American Associations, or NAFAA, is calling on the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C., as well as the Trump administration, to further clarify and provide transparency on the reasons behind the increased number of Filipino seafarer deportation in the recent months. At least 22 Filipino cruise ship workers aboard the Carnival Sunshine were detained and deported when Carnival Cruise ship docked in Norfolk, Virginia port in the past 4 months. NAFAA National President Ryan Amata says their goal is to ensure the rights of Filipino workers are upheld and respected. In a statement, NAFAA Virginia State President Angela Reyes said that NAFAA will continue to advocate for due process and humane treatment for all individuals. Meanwhile, the Filipino Workers Center, who has been following closely the said case, is asking the Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, to make these detentions and deportations make sense, as it's still not clear to them why these Filipino seafarers, whom they described as falsely accused of possession of child pornography, were detained and deported despite a lack of criminal charges or convictions.
They were not, given access to, to an attorney. It's not required, but these are serious charges, and and they should have at least some form of evidence for them to revoke the visas of these workers, and make an order of having them removed or returned to the Philippines.
We really want the Philippine government to take action on this. It is so apparent when you read all of when you hear all of the testimony, all of these housekeepers, all of these, chefs and galley attendants. Is child pornography really a rampant problem? They don't deserve this type of treatment.
Soriano Versosa says after speaking with the Carnival Cruise Line, officials told them that the Carnival Cruise Line is taking this issue as a law enforcement matter and that Carnival always cooperates with law enforcement investigations.
We beg to differ that there are no charges being filed. There are no convictions that are happening. They are simply getting their immigration status taken away. And so it's very much a immigration issue as well as a civil rights issue.
Meanwhile, in light of the Philippine President's State of the Nation address on Monday, Filipino activists in Washington, D.C. are demanding action from President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who recently met with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House.
We're demanding that Marcos take a stand. He has basically made no public stance and demand that this crackdown on immigrants stop, that the rights of Filipinos na nakadetain na or nakathreaten na, that they're protected. We are in touch with the families. They are scared, but they are fighting. And we're asking Marcos to do the same, to fight.
We say enough is enough, that we protect our migrants, we protect our workers, our seafarers, and we also demand that Marcos and the Philippine government advocate and do everything in their power, use diplomacy to not, back down and really fight for the Filipino people.
These Filipinos on the East Coast say President Marcos may have missed the opportunity to raise the issue of the unexplained surge in seafarer deportations during his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump.
It was, a lost opportunity. And who else is going to stand up for Filipinos if not, its own government, to be able to question? We power the cruise line industry. We are 1 in 4 of seafarers that make it work.
However, it's not too late for the president to advocate for the rights of Filipino seafarers to receive due process and for the U.S. to uphold their legal rights to work on these cruise ships and continue to work without fear of unjust revocation of their work visas. Don Tagala, Billionaire News Channel, New York.